whenever we make a map for Overwatch, we always want to give players a fantasy of a different world location. We always want to take people on this journey across the globe. And so we realized we didn't really have a place that was a tropical paradise. So we wanted to make this lush island. And on top of that, with a place like Samoa, we really wanted to dive into a bit of the culture and the heritage of that location. And so we did a lot of research on what the patterns would be like and what the traditional housing would be like, but kind of flip that in an Overwatch direction. And then from before we ever even launched the original game, we have always wanted to make a map in a volcano, and Samoa was like the perfect opportunity for us to do something like that.
Oh man, that lava looks dangerous. Every Lucio player in the audience just rejoiced there for a tiny little moment. Beautiful details obviously here on the concept art. It looks like a very unique set of different points, as it is a control map. So let's dive deeper into those different points and what makes them so special and so unique on this control map.
Yeah, I think one of the things that's really interesting about this map is all three control points are very different from each other. The environment art kits are totally different, from the geothermal volcano area to the downtown to this tropical idyllic beach. They have so much fantasy and flavor. And then at the same time, this is the first time on a control map that we've ever had 3 level designers work on the map at the same time. So we gave each point to a different designer on the team. I'm spinning away from you now. Here we go. we gave each point to a different level designer, so each one of them have their own distinct gameplay personality, and they all feel totally unique from each other.
All right. Well, I'd say it's time to take a stroll through those different points. Let's start on a very scenic one. We're headed over to Beach.
Beach is my favorite of the 3 that we're going to go through right now. Beach is all about this sort of like cozy island feel. Our associate art director, Peter Lee, who is the kindest person I've ever met, likes to say that this is a map that you want to hug and that will hug you back.
It's so warm and fuzzy.
So warm and nice. One of the great things about the way that it's designed is that immediately at the spawn, you know where you're at. It's very easy to orient yourself. On the one side, you have this beautiful beach with vibrant blue water. On the other side, you have the rocky hillside with this lush green forest. And then it all funnels down into what is arguably my favorite control point that we've made in Overwatch 2.
Yeah, it's actually pretty crazy. So the control point is sunken down. When you come to it from the main route, you'll actually head down those main sets of stairs to get to it. And it can be really dangerous. You don't just want to rush ahead as the tank into the control point, because you're just going to get kind of like eaten up by the enemy team. And so you really kind of have to focus on how you're going to control the point, how you're going to take different angles for it. There's high ground all around it. And the interesting thing is once you do get down there, there's a bunch of little outs. So you're able to back up under some of the overhangs. You're able to kind of like move around some of the side routes in order to either escape or to try to hold it and stall out on it.
It leads to some really interesting team fights that are unlike anything else, and I cannot wait to see how players who are much better than us on the development team end up approaching it.
It's gonna be exciting to see, and honestly, just the level of details. Yes, this map is hugging me right now. I can feel the warmth looking at that. We just got to see some of those huts, and that leads us to the vibrant downtown. What can you tell us about this point?
Yeah, downtown takes everything that you just saw on Beach and modernizes it in this really interesting way. And so it's a great example of the Overwatch style of taking something that is traditional and unique to a region and really bringing it into the future in this like hopeful, optimistic way. So you see these beautiful city streets. It all funnels down towards this familiar and somewhat unique control point. And the architecture is just the kind of thing that you could get lost in. There's so many little details. There's an aquarium in the middle of the street, and one of them, it is fantastic.
Yeah, I love the architecture here. We took a similar approach to this map that we did to Numbani. So we took a lot of the traditional buildings, traditional architecture, traditional shapes that you just see in the culture, and kind of built a whole city out of it. One of the things I love about it is that central control point. It has a very circular flow to it. Reminds me a little bit of Oasis City Center or Lijiang Garden, where teams can kind of approach it from different angles. And the difference here is that there's a lot of high ground around it. So depending on what route you're going to take, a team can get up to the high ground and at the same time, you don't always have to push mid. You can take one of the side routes and have a whole team come in a different direction and attack it from that point of view.
Explosive gameplay we can expect from this part of the map. But things are gonna heat up as we're heading over to Volcano. Man, that just looks dangerous. That has danger written all over it.
This is the spiciest meatball of the 3 control points that we have. Yeah, it really is fantastic how aggressive the play on the point is here. But to step back a second, this is a former Eco Point base that was then given over to the local government to be a geothermal power plant, providing sustainable energy for the region, and has very industrial architecture. And I mean, I can't just omit a bunch of words about this beautiful lava flow in the middle of it, which is not only awesome to look at, but also incredibly dangerous.
I love that. I feel like I need some sort of heat lava pun in order to fit into this conversation.
It's fire.
It's lit. But at this point, it plays really different from the other 2 points. And out of all 3 points, this one has the most direct confrontation between the 2 teams. It's very even-handed. So there'll be a lot of moments where you're poking across the middle and kind of figuring out when that moment is that you're going to commit to try to take that point. The interesting thing here too is the point's a lot more open than some of the other points. So you're going to see Lucio come out, you're going to see Farah come out, especially with a lot of the boop areas off to the side. We think those 2 heroes ought to be really powerful on this map.
Yep, it is the most frenetic of the 3 control points for sure.
Yeah, I love it. And there's like, the control point too has this drop down like right in the middle of it. So if you need that moment where you're just gonna bail, you take it. And the cool thing is there's a jump pad at the bottom. So you can pop right back up if you want.
Man, those 3 points, so very different, and not just in the look, but also, of course, in the approach to playing them, which means we're going to see a lot of diversity in terms of compositions and play styles. So very, very exciting stuff on our new map, Samoa.